Hey guys, Mike Adleski here. Just doing a video on the evolution of my training over the years. Some people have asked some questions. I did a little Facebook poll. A lot of people wanted to hear about this because I mean it's not a typical kind of like, oh, I'm really good at lifting weights, so I'm going to keep doing it the first time I try it, because I've kind of been a piece of shit for the majority of my progress through the strength world. And I think it's pretty good to start off, pretty lousy, work really hard. A lot of the people that seem like they last the longest are the ones that kind of suck when they first get started, and then just kind of have to do that little grind and everything to get to a point where they're either any good or they outlast everybody else that was better than them. So I just want to go over just a little timeline I got set up here of everything that's kind of happened in my training life thus far up until this point right now. 1985, I was born. Training consisted of baby squats and power poops, as you can see right there. Not really a whole lot to talk about. I wasn't an unnaturally large child or anything, other than my head size being about the same as it is right now. That's been fun, like growing into my enormous dome piece over the last 30 years of my life, which I think I'm finally starting to get proportion to the size of my cranium. From 1992 to 1999, grew up on a horse farm. Just lots and lots of remedial stuff like mucking stalls, carrying water troughs, unloading hay trucks, unloading bedding, just stuff like that, carrying stuff around. Lots of moving. I mean, I woke up and did stuff before school, came home, did stuff after school. You read a lot of stuff from really good Finnish lifters and stuff, and really good lifters in like Eastern Bloc countries. A lot of them grew up on farms. A lot of the guys, a lot of the best football schools in the United States here, like look at Wisconsin, everybody on that team is 900 pounds and look like they eat glass bottles at halftime. So like it's just these just kind of farm raised, it's all general physical preparation for everything else you could ever possibly do. It's kind of our starting to sports school and stuff like that. But basically anyone who does a lot of manual labor early on in life, it seems like they do pretty well in individual strength sports later on, or like wrestling or football, any kind of pretty, high impact, just something requiring speed and toughness for the most part. Because I mean, nothing sucks more than getting up and shoveling shit first thing in the morning. You learn a lot about yourself, especially when these are most of my elementary and like middle school years and stuff in there. And nothing makes more friends than smelling like horse shit all day. So take it from me, that's the number one thing people are looking for in a good buddy, is you stinking like shit all the time. But around this time too, mostly in middle school, 3 years I was in there, started doing push-ups and dips and stuff in my room, some stupid core work. I actually got pretty good at breakdancing for a little while, believe it or not, on a little crew back in the day. I'm gonna just shut up and go fuck myself on that story right now. I'm not talking any more about that ever again. So yeah, I just started doing some little stupid body weight exercises and stuff. Just reading some things and seeing some things when I was in middle school. I was like, cool, I need to get better at, doing things with my own body and everything. So, brings us to 1999. Coming into, I remember how I got started in lifting in the first place. I remember going into a football interest meeting when I was in middle school. So I'd never played football before. I grew up playing like rec soccer, rec basketball, really, stupid team sports like that. Never football, never anything contact or violent or really that fast or anything. Have you ever seen a rec soccer game? It's like all these like dumbass little kids running in molasses for the most part. But so that brings into account this meeting that I went to prior to high school football and everything. Like I said, it was in one of the classrooms in my middle school. Coach stood up there, was talking about some stuff. I remember after the meeting, stood up, went and introduced myself. I was like, hi, I'm Mike Adleski. I'm really interested in playing football next year. Never played it before. Is there anything I should be doing? And, at this point, I'm about 5'8", maybe like 140 pounds, give or take. So, Coach looks me up and down and he says, well, son, you better get a gym membership and you better start eating or else you're going to get killed next year. So I looked at him and I said, okay, and I really have not been able to turn that off. So thank you, Coach John Davis, for ruining my life up until this point. Seriously, that has been one of the most influential people in my whole entire life. My high school football coach. Now I'll get to why he was one of the most awesome human beings I've ever met in just a little bit here. So that started the "What in the fuck am I doing" program, where I remember getting a gym membership for a small commercial gym kind of near my house. I mean, I grew up in the middle of nowhere, Howard County, Woodbine, Maryland. For anyone that's familiar with that area, it's a giant farm. There's nothing there. You got to drive 20 minutes to get to school. So, like, I went to the closest, like, large-scale commercial gym that was near me, and the only things I knew how to do there were the leg extension machine, because it was the first thing I saw. I sat on it, did a bunch of stupid leg extensions, and found one of those little bikes with the screen on it with the joystick, where you can play a little tank game where you pedal really hard and you shoot other tanks on the screen. So basically it was 10 minutes of leg extensions, 50 minutes of playing the stupid tank game at the highest resistance I could possibly tolerate. So that actually might have helped with some running stuff. It might have helped with just lower body strength, general conditioning, everything like that. I didn't know how to do anything else. So I got pretty fucking good at that little seated bike tank game, though. I was wrecking shit on there. I had the high score for a little while at Fitness First down in Olney, Maryland. Go check it out. It might still be there. So that was just that summer leading into high school football. No clue what's going on or anything regarding anything training. Man, that's just really funny thinking back on that stuff now. So 1999 to 2003, these are my informative high school years. I remember going into football testing. I was so proud of myself. Me and two other guys, one of them I'm still really good friends with today. His name's Brian Behe. We benched 165 pounds at about 160 pounds body weight, and we were so fired up because that was some of the strongest freshmen that were coming in. And then I remember watching some of the upperclassmen doing the 225 bench test, and a couple of them did like 5-10 reps, something like that. And I remember standing there watching that going, holy shit, people are this strong? This is fucking crazy. Like, how do you get that strong? And later on, I remember doing my first back squat, 95 pounds, just buried me, pinned to the floor. It was ridiculous. But so in this entire time frame right here, I sucked at every sport I did. I played lacrosse. I was actually pretty decent at lacrosse. I probably should have stuck with that. I just enjoyed football the most because I liked hitting people and lifting weights really hard. Lacrosse is way too much jogging for my interest. I wrestled for a little while until they told me I had to start losing some weight. And being like I said, if I didn't lift weights, I'd be 6'2", the height I am now, and probably about 160 pounds. Just this lanky, just flaily arm bastard. So if I wasn't actively trying to gain weight or be big or be strong, I'd be some little lanky, like googly armed looking guy. So I just didn't want to continue wrestling and have to lose weight for that, be in a weight class for that, like right off the bat. It didn't make sense to me then, and it's still, even now as an adult, it still doesn't make sense to me, some of the shit that these kids do getting it ready for youth wrestling. But that should be another video where I just crush all that shit to death. Fucking child abuse. Anyway,